in the league when he was at Minnesota. He was on the team. He was the linebackers coach for my 2 years in Baltimore, 2001. I just saw him 2 weeks ago because he was on the panel with me and a couple of the other guys and coaches. Yes, for Baltimore for the 30 for 30. So he was there. So I talked to him. And prior to the last couple of years, if somebody would have told me Jack had these kinds of beliefs and thoughts, I wouldn't have believed him. But after hearing him talk, after seeing what he's tweeted, I'm not surprised that he said this. The only surprise that I have is that he apologized for it, because I know he doesn't mean one word of the apology. It seems to me that somebody from the Commanders or somebody from the league office said, you need to apologize for this. But Jack doesn't mean, he's not sorry that he said that. What Jack Del Rio said is what a lot of Americans think. He said it out loud. They're thinking it, but he said it. So for me, I wouldn't have apologized, because what am I apologizing for, Skip? Because I believe what I said. Now, it's going to be very difficult because 90% of the guys that's in his meeting room are black. 70% of the NFL is black. And to know, like, Skip, you can think one thing, but for someone to verbalize how they really think and to have a false equivalence of this for that, and he said it.
Tweeted it, doubled down.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I'm just asking honest. You're not asking no honest question because you already know the answer. You know that wasn't no dust up. You know what they were trying to do. So for me, people are like, are you surprised? Over the last 2 to 3 years after hearing what he said, if you'd asked me this in 2001, I'd have been shocked. Because I was around him every day. 2000, 2001, I was around him. Know him. But now, no, I'm not surprised.
I covered Jack Del Rio when he was a Dallas Cowboy for about 3 years, late 80s, early 90s.
He was a heck of a player, Skip.
He did make a Pro Bowl. He's a third-round pick out of USC as a linebacker. For those who don't know, he went to USC on a
baseball
dual scholarship, and he, for 2 years, started at catcher for very good USC teams called Randy Johnson.
He absolutely did.
Very good player for a very long time. Twice a head coach, Jacksonville and now Las Vegas, Oakland. And yet, even after his apology yesterday, I sat back and I shook my head. There's a part of Jack I like, but I know the other side too. I get it. I'm with you. But I sat back and I shook my head and I said, I just don't know how this man can keep his job after that. Even with the apology, I don't know.
Right.
Because I can't walk in your shoes about this, but I do have a feel for this. And I know if I did walk in your shoes, how I would feel walking into his defensive coordinator's meeting. I wouldn't love it, man.
Right.
Because he took a shot at the Black Lives Matter movement. I look at images on TV, people's livelihoods being destroyed, businesses are being burned down, no problem. And then we have a dust up at the Capitol. Nothing burned down, and we're going to make that a major deal?
The fact that he said it was a dust up.
We are. We are, because at least 5 people died, and then later a couple of the officers shot themselves. And there were many injuries and many, many, many more arrests, and there's an ongoing investigation of a flat-out coup, an insurrection, an attempt to overthrow the government.
Right.
A dust-up?
Right. And Jack knows that, Skip. If Skip, okay, if what he's saying that they were burning, if President Obama had lost the election, and that's what they were doing, they were in the street and said, we basically want you to, whatever the outcome was, we want President Obama back in. Because that's what they were doing. They didn't like the outcome. They were trying to usurp the will of the people and keep him in office. And Jack's okay with that. He was going to be okay with that. A lot of people were going to be okay with that. All Jack did, Skip, was verbalize. A lot of people think that, like, I ain't going to say that, I ain't going to say that. Jack said it. He said it. And nobody's condoning, like, look, I agree. Yeah, you don't burn people's stuff. But we understood why, because of the George Floyd. And we're saying, look, we're tired. We're tired of the innocent black men and women being killed at the hands of the police and no consequences or repercussions happening. That's what we're tired of. They were tired of, like, well, nah, what we're tired of is that we don't want you guys to get any more rights. And we have a guy in office that's doing everything that we want. So we want to keep him there. And we're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure he stays there. Skip, that's third world countries. That's what they do. They overthrow the government and put their people in place because this is what they want. Not in America. This is America.
Okay. I got it. And by the way, Mike Freeman writes in today's USA Today that he has studied the Twitter feed of one Jack Del Rio, and this is just Mike's view of it. Yeah. He says, you see a sewer system of right-wing conspiracy theories and just plain old dumb stuff. Okay, that's Mike's view of, he's on the opposite side politically of Jack Del Rio. And yet you frame this with Jack now being the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, who are under fire for many, many other problems. And Mike Freeman characterizes the whole organization as having outdone itself in its toxicity and depravity. Well, and so now you got this on top of that. And let me get one more quote from the great Brian Mitchell, former Washington running back. Did you play against
I played against him. We came in the same year, 1990. Yep, really? B. Mitch, yep.
He's a current analyst, and he said on a radio show the other day that he said, I don't give a damn about Ron Rivera getting mad at somebody having a collision in practice. He needs to get off his you-know-what and dress this damn idiot that he hired as defensive coordinator.
Right.
That's what I give a damn about, said Brian Mitchell, who's respected within the
organization, absolutely.
Commanders Nation, right?
Yep.
Okay, now let's go bigger picture here. I've been doing this for a long time. I've known a lot of owners, a lot of general managers, and a lot of different sports since the middle 1970s. And what I was taught, what I learned from all of the above as I came up in the business was nobody can use his platform, especially a coach, to espouse his political or racial or whatever views, his social views, because it was just one big no-no.
Yeah.
Because you can't use it as your pulpit because you have a legion of customers out there. They're customers. This is the entertainment business. And the owners would always tell me, well, you can't I can't utilize this platform to espouse my political leanings because I have a lot of customers who don't believe what I believe.
Correct.
And I don't know what we would trace this back to. Maybe Greg Popovich in San Antonio was one of the first to step up and go after Donald Trump with his bully pulpit,
And Steve Kerr.
Had one, and then he followed, who was a protege of Pop's, and here he went. And then we've had other coaches, we've had in baseball, Gabe Kapler step up and use the platform to preach a message. And in the end, it felt like Jack Del Rio is finally saying, hey, if they can say what they want to say, I can say what I want to say, right?
Yes.
Well, it seems like the Pandora's box has swung wide open here because I'm just not sure I believe in this. If you don't want to hold this office, so to speak, if you don't want to be the defensive coordinator, if you want to go ahead and retire or go into business somewhere, you can do whatever, you can say whatever you want to say.
Right.
But you are representing an organization with millions of customers, many of whom don't believe what you believe.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. If the firestorm didn't start, you think Jack apologizing? Somebody told him. Somebody either in the Commanders or the league office.
His job was on the line.
Yes.
That was to save jobs.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm apologizing. I don't take back anything I say. I'm just apologizing just to keep this job. Yeah, I just want y'all to know I still feel
line. I stand by my comments condemning violence in communities across the country. So
we need you to address that dust up. So you believe that's all it was? It was just a dust up, a misunderstanding. Well, it went from a tour to now it was a little dust up to nobody wants to call it what it was.
Dust up comment was irresponsible and negligent, and I am sorry for that.
No, you're not.
Okay. Well, okay, I'm with you.
No, you're not.
I'm with you. For all his faults, Jack Del Rio is his own man. He stands on his own 2 feet.
1,000%.
Yes, sir. And if I go back in time, my early days in the business, your days playing this sport, how many times did you play for a coach? We could go back to your coach, Dan Reeves. Do you agree with Dan's politics? I think not.
No.
But the point is, on game day, you just let it go,
right.
man. You just, how many players did you play with that you didn't agree with, right?
And the thing was, Skip, and that was one reason why you didn't mention politics or religion in the locker room.
Right.
Because somebody's going to tell you to, shut the you-know-what up, or it's going to start a fight. Now, Dan was very religious. And, Skip, I still think they have it now. They have Bible study. Mm-hmm. You have prayer in the shower before, and then you have a team prayer. Mm-hmm. And, you can join it if you want, or you choose not to.
Got it.
But give me that choice. Don't tell me I'm going to Bible study. Don't tell me I'm coming to prayer. No, I'm not. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. And if, you say bring it up to prayer, if I want to go in the shower, if I want to go somewhere else, that's what I'm going to do. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. Mm. So and I get Jack. Jack's like, look, this is my view. And I'm not, hey, I'm not going to kill, I've tried to do a better job of like, you know what? This his view, all of a sudden, knowing the guy for 30 years, and I'm done, just washing my hands. That's his opinion. If that's the way he feels, if that's the way he views it, I vehemently disagree. But that's his view. That's his opinion.
I can tell that you like Jack enough.
I do.
That if you played with him, you'd be okay with this. Maybe you'd pull him aside.
Yeah, I said, Jack,
hey,
Jack, what the bleep are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you saying?
That's what you'd say. And you'd have a little bit of a heart-to-heart, and it wouldn't... You wouldn't ask him to take back everything you say, but you just say, come on, man.
Yeah, Jack, you got to understand now what's in here, what you coaching.
Right.
I said, I get it. I get the crowd that you're trying to appease, but most of them ain't in your locker room. Most of them is not in your defensive meeting room now. Yeah.